actually catching up to the ceremony of our own life because everything is present for us, but many of us have fallen asleep. Many of us have been in suffering. Many of us, have been in blame and shame. And so this idea of actually catching up to the beauty and majesty of our own life, the magic that has just been here for us all the time, waiting. We begin to amplify this higher frequency, and the more we build our capacity to really be lighthouses in this world, and we start to be, have the capability to be alchemists of our own life. Because of course we are interfacing with denser material, whether it's politics, war, right? Traumas, death, loss. I mean, these are hard things that is part of this kaipacha, right? It's part of this experience. So we need these tools. We need to know how to be crystals and transform the dense energy into the high frequency energy of life.
Right.
And we get to have joy. We get to be in love. So I love this work because it invites play. It gives us permission to trust ourselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vicki, and it is your time. And over here is my lovely co-host cohort, Donna. And
Hi, everyone.
today we have Eva Bloom.
We have a special guest, Ava Tree Shaman. It's so lovely to have you. And just to let everyone know, if you're new to our channel, the reason we're here is to share experiences, that's hard to say, of awakening and growing spiritually. And we interview many people that have the same mind and heart that we do. Those that are who are aware that things are shifting and they want to help. And we do this for the fun of it and to help and because we love it. And a reminder, it costs you nothing to subscribe. So please subscribe. So yes, so Ava, Vicki has a question for you first, I think.
Oh, I just, it's a question that I just like to lead off with. And it's like, what started you on this journey? It's such a small little question.
Yeah. So specifically, I think when you say journey, I mean, that is a wide question, but I was born in the country in rural British Columbia, and I had quite an unusual upbringing. So I think that, my education in some ways, especially early on, was that cultivating deep relational peace with the animals and with the land and with the streams and the trees. And I deeply communed with fairies at the time, even before I knew what fairies were, even before I had the sense of seen and unseen allies, or much more of the languaging that I hold now in regards to animism or shamanism. As a child, I just opened my heart in a relational way to the land and was held by her. And all of that elemental wisdom came in. And for me, I really worked with confusion that a child has in regards to sort of a more adult-oriented world with my own sense of sound frequency. And so humming, singing, communicating in nature, singing to the water, which I really think of now as, following song lines, following the heartbeat, listening to the frequency in myself, like that vibrational way that we actually can become tuning forks ourselves, right? When we vibrate, when we hum, when now we have science that tells us, how this recalibrates the vagus nerve, how this treats anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. I think for me, that was my first real becoming of who I was as somebody that loves music and loves, one of the things I do is voice alchemy and help other people open their voice, open their authentic expression. And then, of course, from there, I had many journeys that took me away from that very idyllic lifestyle in some ways. It was remote, and so I wasn't necessarily connected to a lot of other kids, but I was moved from there at a very early age. At 8, we moved from the country and was brought into the city. And I will say that for me, that was a very chaotic time.
Wow, yeah.
And right. And I think so many of us in the shamanic field, recognize that in some ways it's those hard times, it's those challenging places that can actually be a catalyst to be an initiatory process. So that's what happened for me. And then fast forward as a teenager, various other initiatory pieces. One of them I call When Eagle Opened My Hand was really a turning point where I was hanging out with a crowd of people that were really into exploring drugs and alcohol. And, of course, this is, I guess, a teenage rite of passage of itself. We probably all know that one. But for me, I very unequivocally knew that if I did that, Spirit told me, you will not survive. If you take that path, you will not survive that. And so I had this experience in my graduating year, my grade 12, where I had an extraordinary out-of-body experience. Even talking about it now wakes my palms up.
Wow.
And I left my body and really touched this source energy, this profound, in the Andean terminology of Quechua, we would say I touched tonic pacha. I touched heaven. I touched that pure Sami high frequency light. And I wanted to keep going actually, but I knew at one point there was a membrane. If I went any further, that was it. But when I came back into my body temple, I had been completely reorganized and changed. And my whole body became, what would be the word? Just a heightened awareness, heightened sensation through my hands. So I knew that I had to be a healer. I didn't know it in so much in a logical way, but then it was sort of like choices that went from there. I trained my voice at that time. Then I went and joined a mystery school that I lived with for 3 years.
Oh,
and
wow.
that was based out of New Mexico. And then just kept immersing more and more into that realm of, following, I guess, those threads. It's like those luminous threads. And when we wake up, when we have those initiatory experiences, at least for me, I've had many actually. I think we all have many in this lifetime. I just started to follow those luminous pieces and start to irrigate those dreams, irrigate those visions. And so fast forward to now, I find myself almost 30 years now in the healing field as somebody who works with people hands-on healing, whereby I get so much information. I can touch a person or not even touch them. Now working remotely, working, through the crystal of the computer, I right? I feel like I have been given a gift whereby I can just help people map what is going on. And sometimes, especially early on, that was very upsetting when, some of my first clients, suddenly I would get very strong messages and I would be like, oh my gosh, what do I do with that? We're talking about really big traumas, death, big pieces that you're navigating with people that who may not necessarily understand all of that unseen realm as
Right.
well. And so bit by bit, I found the shamanic tools to weave that in and language it in such a way that whoever I was working with just knew that ultimately we were shining love and light onto specific areas of the body, the spirit, the mind, and that we were receiving all of this guidance from angels, from guides. Now I'm a Mesa carrier for the last over 10 years. And so, as Puma Singona Kispe says, right, that's a game changer because when we have our Mesa, it's like we have a whole team. So when I go and do a session now, I just instantly call on my team. And yeah, so it's like I'm not doing the work. I would say the work, and I even hesitate to say the work, but
Right.
right, the sacred play, the ceremony of life, my service, the way that I love to show up in sacred service to my community, to my family, to my larger community, keeps being informed, and I just keep listening the best I can because I
Right.
do believe that service is why we're here. This is, just
Definitely.
like you guys are doing this beautiful podcast as your service, right?
Right.
So anyway, that's a little snapshot of
Wow.
what started me on my journey.
That's wonderful. I experienced those things. On Lake Winnipeg, we had a cottage, so we were there in the summers, and I experienced those things, but did not know what they. I just, people always said what an imagination you have, So I followed all that too, but forgot all about it when you get back into the real world, you know. But you were able to follow that and keep following that. So what a gift that's beautiful. That's so
Mm.
beautiful. Wow.
Well, and I love what you just said because I do believe we all have this inner realm that is trying to nourish us.
Yeah.
And so that's actually what I love to do it with my shamanic mentorship is invite people to remember who they are.
Mhm.
Invite people to remember why they are here. Why did they get born earthside in this time? And and why are we here? And even where are we from? Like our cosmic origins,
Right.
right?
Right.
And
That's a whole other thing that people as soon as you start talking about that, they shy away, and
right.
but to me, it's just astronomy. It's all it
Well,
is.
and a lot of that has to do with our ancestors too, because they're our
There you
cosmic
go.
origins also.
There you go. So
Absolutely.
there you go.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yes.
you wanted to talk about ancestors, so we segued right into that. All right, Vicki. So yeah,
Perfect.
and I think shamanically people think of ancestors in a much different way than, your everyday person who, has a job and an iPhone, that sort of thing.
Mm,
So
It's not just our grandmother and our great grandmother. It's generations and past that are all watching over our lineage,
mhm.
in our harmonic lineage.
that's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Yes, well said. I mean, for me, it's taken me a long time to understand or even come into coherence with ancestors, because um, just like so many of us, I have felt quite orphaned from a lot of my ancestry. Um, and also there's a lot of trauma and a lot of, harm that came down those ancestral lines. And the more I get in there and start, unwinding, untangling those threads, the more I'm shown again and again that each one of us has, a bit of a tangled web, if you will. And that, if we, or maybe I'll say it this way, until we can fully come into our own accountability and not be blaming somebody for this or that and those darn, what I got, what I didn't get, but come into this sense of full accountability, then we have the agency, the active ability to come into unconditional love, and we have the will to forgive. And we forgive ourselves too for calling in suffering, for calling in a hard process from our ancestral line. And what I'm finding is that as I'm doing that with myself and with my clients, is that suddenly there is this grace that is opening, whereby, there's a downpouring, if you will, of love, of light, of remembrance, and the gifts of our ancestors, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people that brought us, each of us, to where we are, suddenly gets to have a voice and gets to be more expressed. And again, it's not us in our own little bubble, but it's us saying, I am held.
Right.
Even as I'm saying that, it's like, wow, our circle of three here
Yes.
suddenly becomes mighty, because you feel all these ancestors leaning in who want to feel acknowledgement, even if
Right.
we don't know their names yet,
They
right?
they want to be seen, they want to be acknowledged for their contribution to
Yes,
your life. And
yes.
it's DNA, it's harmonics, it's everything that comes and makes us who we are, and we are the incarnation at this time to release so much of
Yes.
untold lineages.
And
Absolutely.
we're healing so much.
Mhm.
Like they say, when you heal something, you're healing 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. But I feel everyone who is here now is here for a purpose of just total healing all of the lineages, as further back than just 7 generations. I mean, just all of it, which then they say that will change history and we'll see it differently, which that
And
would
it
be
will also
incredible.
change, right? And it'll also change, yes. So I work in that field quite a lot, that causal field where, our prayers that we drop in and our healing does ripple, yes or yes, forward and backward in time, and absolutely brings change, and absolutely starts tending our future selves and our children and whatnot. That, it's like invoking kindness now and invoking love, so that, or irrigating some beautiful seeds so that there's actually a garden that can nourish future generations. And
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah, and so many indigenous cultures, the elders and the ancestors are just part of the mythopoetic story and the archetypes that are very, very present in the oral traditions. And I do feel that that's missing in the Western culture. And because of that, we have a sense of feeling bereft, many of us, and we have a sense of longing for belonging. We have a sense of, and that's why we're seeing such a huge push these days, which is wonderful. A huge push for, or awakening, I guess, of many, many people suddenly who are trying to lean into indigenous knowledge and trying to, receive new ways and trying to reclaim even a sense of what is ritual, what is
Right.
ceremony, and how can we bring this into our life, right? How can we heal our bodies? How can we heal how can we bring that well-being into our lifestyles? So I
Right.
think there's a collective cry right now for a deep, deep remembering.
I think so. And lately, the last couple of weeks, it's been bringing back people I've heard. I mean, I'm sure other people say this, but I've heard talking about bringing back the magic. And to me, that's knowing that all of the ancestors are around you. All of the trees were the first, well, maybe bugs, but I think trees and plants were the first thing that I felt was talking to me other than people. So, and that's supposedly a big thing. It was to me at the time.
Absolutely.
But,
Well, and you notice, yes, absolutely. I communicate with the tree people on the regular and always
Mhm.
have. And I was named Tree. So my family of origin all call me Tree. In fact, that was my first name until I was 18. And it is one of my
Oh,
given names. Yes. So
Interesting.
oh, that's so
yeah.
neat. I
Yeah.
love that. I wondered how
Yeah.
that fits into the whole, yeah, how
Well,
your
and
name.
speaking, right. And speaking of trees, in Quechua, Malkikuna means tree spirit or tree being, but it also means ancestor. So I love how this also weaves into the tree of life. It weaves into different myths, right? Different cosmologies where the tree is the connector between the three worlds. And yeah, so we're ready. I love trees. I do a lot of ceremony with trees, and they're so receptive, and we need them.
They are.
Yeah.
And there is one sort of like an experiment that a few people tried that I've been passing on to others, that if you have a tree near you and you stand under the tree and you can ask it, will you please reach down and touch me? And if you really believe this is the magic I'm talking about, if you really believe it, you will see. And people will say, oh, it was just the wind. So I've come to say, will you put one of your leaves in my hand, not
Mm,
just sway towards me? And they do. You can do that with your house plant,
mm,
too. So, and that could bring back magic in your life and
absolutely.
make you realize that all that you're speaking of today, to your points today, that this stuff is real.
So, oh, absolutely, 100%. I love what you're saying, Donna. And I sing to the trees. I go to the forest every day, and
Oh,
I have ancestor trees that I make offerings to, and often will bring, offering plates and gifts to, as well as nahues. I don't know if you know what a nahue is, but nahues are circles, often like a little stone circle, where you can make offerings into the forest that similar to an apacheta, which
I was
apacheta
gonna
is a more of
say.
a right, more of a masculine one, as we know, where it's the stones are stacked. The apacheta becomes more like an acupuncture point where we can make our prayers activated and connect through what's called seke lines to other wakas or places of power. So including, Stonehenge or the Egyptian pyramids, of course,
Mhm.
the temples in Peru, but all over the world. And I love that work because it means that those people that, as yourself, Donna, and I'm not sure about you, Vicki, those people who are, bless you, are, um, working with mesas, for instance, or working with their altars, are we get the opportunity to amplify our prayers and
Mhm.
connect through those Seke lines, through the Nawe work, through the Pacheta, through our ancestor trees, through connecting with sacred nature. And if I can bring my mentorship clients into the forest, that's what I love to do because it, as you said, magic is everywhere,
It
everywhere. And it's touching us with the wind, it's
Mhm.
blessing us with a stream or a bird or an eagle feather. And I
right.
think so many of us need that medicine these days.
Yeah.
And we do.
So many, yeah, we all just live in cities, you know.
Right,
Right.
right.
Well, I live in the city too, but well, it's on, in Arizona, all the land is very sacred that you're living on, no matter where you are, to me in Arizona.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there are different apus here that, there are four different types of mountains here. I feel like they're my apus. They pulled me back here. But, I
Hmm.
have a little altar outside. I have a bush that is my tree.
Beautiful.
That's what you do, whatever. Or
Yes,
even a house plant, anything that,
absolutely.
I
Well,
mean, I
that's
know
the
it's not
thing.
attached to
There's
the
spirits
ground,
and
but
right. And of course, there's all this nourishing magic in cities as well.
mhm,
Of course, there is. So there wouldn't be a convergence of people in large places unless there wasn't a lot of, powerful energies there calling them powerful resources. And absolutely, we can work with a house plant
yep.
and we can bless our water and drink our water that way. So there's so many ways that we can remember our sacred nature. And yes, if we can actually get our bare feet on the grass, that is a blessing,
Mhm.
100%. But not everybody gets to. And, it's like Puma says, it's like the pilgrimage or the nature is there for, we can take those steps if we want to, if we're able to. But it's just like a pilgrimage to a mountain. Not everybody can
Right.
climb up the mountain. And so that's why the Pacos or the Nusta Pacos, which I consider myself that a feminine, Andean priest. That's why, anyone who's holding the tradition, that we're taking steps for those that can't.
Right.
And we're offering prayers on the land or to the water for those that maybe who have forgotten to pray even. But everybody needs those prayers. And I
Definitely.
I think that, we all contribute in our own way, and that's beautiful and so, so needed.
It is. And especially at this time when there are many people that are not seeing this, what's happening as an awakening or, a new beginning. So in times like this, is there any any special ceremony that you would tell people to do other than, like you're talking about your rituals and things like that? Do you pass rituals on to others? Do you, try to help them understand? Is there anything that people could do who aren't even Mesa carriers
Mm,
or,
yeah, beautiful. I love that question. And yes, the answer is yes,
oh, yeah.
because so many of us feel, as I said, I'm using that word again, almost orphaned from a sense of tradition.
Hmm.
And or they may have been immersed in a church experience that ultimately might have been traumatic for them. So there may have been some kind of breach that they're trying to heal, um, or not, or maybe it's an active tradition and that's fabulous. But what I love to do is if I've had a very profound healing session where somebody has really accessed something profound and deep, and I know it's not through me. I get to witness and hold sacred space for somebody when they do that profound work. They're the ones doing it with help from the allies. But when I really witness that level of healing, which happens a lot, what I love to do is to invite that person to, and sometimes I'll even have flowers or kintu leaves that I'll give them. So if so, I would invite them by giving them a carnation or rose petals if I have it at my office, or something like that. If I don't have it on hand, I will say, listen, you've just had this profound healing. That was one layer of perhaps a very traumatic event that came off, and now in order for your whole body to really integrate and take up this good work, I invite you to go to the water and bring this flower, or bring these leaves, or maybe it's even some seeds. Simple, simple, simple. And I invite them to blow on the flower and just say thank you in however, there's no wrong way, right?
Right.
There's no wrong way. And so just dear Earth Mother, dear Pachamama, dear beautiful water, thank you, thank you, thank you for this healing today. Thank you for this opportunity to remember who I am. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for helping me know that I'm not alone. However they want to pray, but then to blow, give the essence of their own being onto that little ofrenda, that gift, and then give that to the water or to the earth, under a little stone or under a tree. And with that, in doing that simple, simple gift, they begin to catch up and open their path of Aini. In other words, they step into proper alignment. In the Hawaiian, we would say, to pono, ho'oponopono, to make right alignment and with coherence with all of nature. In the Andean cosmology, we say Aini. They come back into Aini relationship, whereby, they start recognizing, oh my gosh, I may have taken this beautiful tree for granted, or I maybe haven't said thank you out loud for all these gifts my whole life. And so they start to catch up. And in doing so, what happens is whatever gifts have happened in the body through that healing amplifies and actually is allowed to integrate. And the funny thing is, and I love this story and it's so true, I often will make a little invitation to somebody, something as simple as a flower, and then the next time I see them, I'll say, I'll do our check-in, and then I'll say, were you able to make that offering? I would say, 90% of them tell a beautiful story and how it, gave them a memory and it opened their heart and it brought a healing onto itself. But there's a few people that go, oh my gosh, I completely forgot, or I wasn't able to do it. And for those people, the next invitation of what they make as an offering or a ritual for themselves you make it more complicated. You do.
They'll remember. Yeah.
Yes. And so the story that I heard from Don Juan Nunez del Prado was that his teacher, Don Benito, who was a great revered healer in the Andes, is he would do that. And if somebody came back and hadn't done their kintu, hadn't done their flowers, well, they would have to do a much more complex offering. Whether it was a despacho, a haiwariqui, like there was more complexity, and then it had to be a certain ingredient and a bath 3 times a week, or
wow.
And yes, and so I feel like there's a teaching there around, again, in a Western mind, we want things to be complicated.
Yeah.
We want to stand on our one leg, and we want to do this, and we want to do that, and we're going to write it out 3 times or whatever.
Right.
But the truth is, we just need to be present.
Yes.
And through that presence and through our breath, we can have the most profound ritual and something as simple as offering a flower to the water. So that's just one example.
And
Wow.
I want to expound on that, just because it is such a
Yes.
simple and beautiful practice You
Yes.
are actually giving your life's essence
Yes.
through through a, through a flower, and
Yes.
sharing it with the earth, whether it's
Yes.
in the forest, whether it's in the water. You are sharing your essence of gratitude
Mm.
with the land. And it's that simple conscious act of doing it.
That's right.
Absolutely. And that's when the magic really becomes forefront in our life. You
Yes.
know, I love to give a challenge to a new client who might be not walking this path yet, and they make, they make one offering. Well, those that actually step up and want to do mentorship, it's because they realize, oh my gosh, when you start making those little offerings, you're making them all the time. You're
Yeah.
offering your breath. You're every time you're out, you're acknowledging the wind or the rain. And then you really have stepped into your path of I need everything is magical. Everything is ceremony. And
Yes. Yes.
right?
It is your awareness that brings the magic into being.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
yes.
Yeah, and
I love,
the more you're great, I remember the first time that I actually felt grateful. Like you always say thank you, and I would say thank you for my food, whatever, and but something I don't even remember what happened, but something clicked in me where I was like, gratitude is the thing. It's like it's the highest compliment you can give yourself or you can give the universe. And I just started being thankful for everything. And the more you're thankful for, the more you will find to be thankful for. And it just continues to where, like you said, it's an everyday, you have rituals in your life that you don't even realize that are a ritual. And you were speaking of the rituals of the church or whatever, saying grace. When we were kids, we were told we had to say grace, and it was like, "Thank you, Father, for this food." We asked you, what, like that. And now it's like, "Oh, thank you, chicken, for laying this beautiful egg." That's the kind of grace that, to
mm,
me, and that's very ritualistic. That's something,
absolutely.
and it is good
Yes,
for your body. It's good for the chicken because the chicken gets some of that energy. Like, oh, all of a sudden,
of
a little
course.
grace goes to the chicken. So yeah. Oh,
Oh, and
oh, yeah.
it's so beautiful when we start to wake up in that way and our heart starts to wake up. You know, we open up the relational field, and that's when we start to recognize we are connected with everyone and that we are not alone. We're held as children of this earth, and we are connected through our animal kin, through the plant kingdom, through each other, through our humanity. And I feel that, well, for myself, back to your question about a ceremony or a ritual to offer our listeners today, I will say that for me, with how I love to work and how I love to invite people to this work, is that ceremony in Quechua says the word is puklei, and puklei translates as sacred play. And so there is this invitation to come back to this heart of innocence, come back to this remembrance of who we truly are as our essence, our remembrance that we already know we're all connected. And then this idea that ceremony, of course, is everything we embark on when we bring our presence, when we bring the all of ourself to
Right.
sacred time and sacred space, then we're actually catching up to the ceremony of our own life, because everything is present for us, but many of us have fallen asleep. Many of us have been in suffering. Many of us, have been in blame and shame. And so this idea of actually catching up to the beauty and majesty of our own life, the magic that has just been here for us all the time, waiting. So when we make those offerings and we open our path of Aini and sacred reciprocity, we're actually catching up. And the
I
more
love
we
that.
catch up, right? The more we catch up, the more we begin to amplify this higher frequency. And the more we build our capacity to really be lighthouses in this world. And
Mhm.
we start to be, have the capability to be alchemists of our own life. Because of course we are interfacing with denser material, whether it's politics, war, right? Traumas, death, loss. I mean, these are hard things that is part of this kaipacha, right? It's part of this experience. So we need these tools. We need to know how to be crystals and transform the dense energy into the high frequency energy. And by offering our breath, as you said, Vicki, offering our very essence, offering our presence as a present to the now, we catch up. We catch up with all of the beauty that's around us, that's happening all the time. This incredible, mystical, magical experience of life.
Right.
And we get to have joy. We get to be in love. So I love this work because it invites play. It gives us permission to trust ourselves. And I would say 90%, maybe all of my client base over the last 30 years, one of the missing pieces, they come to me because they've lost their trust in themselves. And
Right.
so, to build that trust up again it's almost like this energetic muscle, because due to trauma or accidents or, all these circumstances, and I can say personally as well, that we sacrifice ourselves. We give ourselves away. We over accommodate. We try to fix people. We don't embody our authentic voice yet. And so when we call ourselves back into presence, then we have the opportunity to trust ourselves again. And when
Yeah.
we trust ourselves again, oh my gosh, right?
Yeah, that's wow. You put that into such beautiful
Yeah,
words. Oh, and
beautifully,
wow.
beautifully said.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very,
Mhm.
very, very well said. Yes, that's
Thank
so
you.
good. That's perfect. Because and wow, I hope I know the people who need to hear that will hear it because that's wow, very profound and very condensed into it. It was beautiful. Thank
And
you so
and
Oh,
much. Yeah.
thank
and
you.
and
Um,
trusting
Go
yourself
ahead.
is one of the most fundamental things that you can do for yourself. Realizing
Absolutely.
realizing you are always connected, you are always a part of the divine.
Yes.
You are always this emanation of the God inside of you.
Yes.
And
Right.
when you go out and realize what you are, it
Hmm.
you can trust that everything you have to give will be accepted in some way.
Right.
Beautiful.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautifully said, Vicky. Well, yeah, for me, trust is so essential. And, you know, back to that earlier question of how did I find myself on this path? I think myself, as so many others, somewhere along the way, I gave away my power in various capacities.
Mhm.
And so then I was tasked with, okay, well, I got to get it back, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, this is part of life. This is initiatory. This is how we do this. But I mention it because one of the things that I love to preface all my sessions online or in person is that, you know, everything we talk about, everything we share with one another, everything, whether I'm holding a larger ceremony or a workshop, or, that the invitation is to to trust yourself. So it's also like, don't take my word for anything.
Right.
It's this invitation that says, gosh, you have this incredible agency within each of you and whoever's listening that we want to nourish with that agency, that ability to hold your seat in chaotic times, right? Know your yes, know your no. Like
Right.
really come into your own harmonic alignment. And there's so many folks out there also, in any modality that are going to say, oh, you got to sign up for this and that and the other thing. And only I can do this and this and this and this, or only that, I mean, sort of like a guru mentality, or, you see it everywhere.
Mm.
And that is something that, as a spiritual mystical seeker my entire life, I have encountered a great deal of. And
Right.
so I love to sit in this space of saying, I will share everything that I know and feel to authentically hold wisdom and value and be a tool of service. But trust yourself. Trust
Right.
yourself so that ultimately, I guess I love shining a light on that, because when people do that, they come out of a session and they know it's not that somebody else did something for them.
Right.
It's that they took something in, viscerally into their own blood and bones. It's like a transmission. They took it in and their own trust got activated. And what is it? Trust in the earth, trust in each other, trust in humanity, trust in their own ability to be alchemists of their own life.
Definitely.
And right. And
And
so
and
it
to
really
feel,
brings empowerment.
yeah, yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
empower and to feel in your gut or in your heart rather than just in your head. That to me
Yes. Ooh,
that definitely will help you learn to trust yourself again. Yeah. It
I
was hard
love
for
that.
me. It was oh,
Hmm.
oh good.
Mm,
It was tough for me to find that, but once I really found it, boy, I grasped it and it was
mm.
like boundaries everywhere. And then
Beautiful.
a couple people were very surprised and it was like, sorry, this is how it is because, and I
Yeah.
don't mean it in a negative way. I mean it, I want everyone to find theirs. I want everyone to find their love and, what makes them want to get up every morning. And, and another term lately that a lot of people that I keep hearing, and I don't think I got it until today, is the idea of you get to do this. It's not that you have to. And, and when I first heard that, I'm like, oh, yeah, I get to go to work today. Yeah. Well,
Mm,
you know what? You get to have this house. You get to have the AC. You get to have,
mm.
a place that has, the tree outside or whatever.
Yes.
You get to do that. That's another
Right.
way of showing that you're grateful for. That's an
Absolutely.
easy word, an easy way
Mm,
to show your gratitude. So yes.
absolutely. It's like turning
Yeah.
the lens a tiny bit that takes you out of a victim mode and actually into one of agency that says, oh my gosh, yeah, how
That is
lucky am
great.
I?
Yeah,
Right?
that is so great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, oh, go ahead. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I was just wondering. So what I did go to your website and I see that you have a lot of offerings. I just wanted to know if you wanted to expound on the types of things that you offer.
Oh, thank you, Vicki. Yeah. Well, I love, love, love to offer a program called Mesa Munai. And within that program, so Munai means unconditional love combined with will and freedom. And the Mesa is our medicine bundle. So I have many mesas, but this is one that is my healing mesa. I use it for teaching a lot as well. And I love that program. So that's something I offer. That's a 7-week program, and where we program your medicine bundle with elementals, with animal allies, with powers, with frequencies, and it becomes a map. It becomes a compass, it becomes a mirror, it becomes a profound healing tool, both for yourself and others. So I love doing that. And then I have a mentorship program where I do healing work either in person or online, where we bring in a lot of cleansing, clearing techniques, whether it's through sound or different tools, different limpia tools of cleansing the luminous pokpo, the luminous energy field around people, and do body mapping. So I can go in and quite often get a lot of information to potentially be of service to people in that way. So I love doing those kinds of sessions. For local people here, I do workshops, and we do song circles, and we do plant medicine as well. Work with Apushuma, which is a heart medicine. And I love offering that as a plant attunement as well, because it's a great master teacher. So I offer that. And I do something called voice alchemy, which works with really working with sound frequency in our bodies, and how do we use breath to transform density and ultimately really stand in our power and stand in our song, stand in our authenticity. So those are some of the ways I love to work with people. And I also do a monthly online gathering that some folks might be interested on, and you can just go to my website, and it's under classes. And for instance, we just did one on ancestors, and before that we did one on grace. So these are themes that are really, really rich for me. And but you can look out throughout the next months and pick your month that you're really excited about. And what we do is we build an altar together, and we build a coherent prayer space, and we spend time in a sharing circle. And we also I usually drop in creative prompts, because I believe that creativity and, song, all of these things are really part of the shamanic field. So that's just a monthly by donation offering. If anyone's curious about my work and wants to experience that, just join us and be welcome. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds wonderful. That my creativity is going for my, that's something that we talk about different things that we do, but we really don't necessarily have a site or anything like that, because we're pretty much immersed in the podcast and really enjoying that. But it would be nice to do something like that, for anyone. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Well, I love building community. And
Right.
so, having places where people can come together, both in person or online, and share, because I feel there's so much wisdom that each person holds, and it's so unique. Everyone's voice is unique. So,
Right.
yeah,
And
I'm
the
always
energy,
yearning for community.
the energy is different in every group too. So
Absolutely. The
I,
synergy is magical.
I'm going to look it up and maybe join one of yours if I can. What day
Yes.
is it on? Is it on a Sunday? That's my
Um,
day.
it's it's once a month, and I believe it's Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. And
Oh,
all the dates are laid out, and yeah, themes, and it's just click a button, join us. It's by donation, as I said.
mhm.
And yeah, we're getting a beautiful group of people who are showing up, and it's profound. It's really beautiful. I'd love it if you felt like coming.
That would be so neat. Yeah. That's usually when I do the podcast Wednesdays, and
Oh,
maybe I
Wednesdays.
can get it done faster so I can jump in. So wow. That
Yeah.
all of that is wow. I am so honored that you could be here, and you put things in such wonderful language. Explain things very well. What's
Oh,
in my heart, and what's in my Mesa work. I know what I'm doing, but when I try to explain it to people, I can't do it like you do it. So that's really great.
oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Donna.
Ah,
Yeah.
wow. So, another thing, just really quick, you said you have many mesas. Can I ask how many?
Oh, gosh, that's a good
Because I only
question.
have two so far, but yeah.
Because what a shaman type of question.
I know. I'm like, ooh, that's show and tell. That's so funny.
Well, you don't have to
Oh,
show them because some
no,
of them
no,
are private, but
yeah, exactly. One, two, three, four, five.
oh, wow.
What are they for?
Yeah.
Are they all for different things?
They're all for different things. Yeah. Um, yeah, they're all for different things. They're all programmed differently and hold different medicine and are used for different ceremonies and
Right?
different healings. So I will intuitively, yeah, for instance, I have one here that is from the Hatun Karpai, which is a very different medicine bundle than yeah, than what we've done with Puma. It's a whole different cosmology, and the Kuyas are completely different. It's a different roadmap.
Wow.
And yeah. So anyway, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to, well, really bring beauty forward and again bring sacred play into our life. I mean, a bundle is an altar in a way.
It is.
So
It is.
I often will say to people, if we don't have that bundle, we can create a physical altar. I mean, different idea, but Mesa actually means the altar of the earth, right? And so we are it's ways we can even bring that inside our own heart and see it that way and work with it that way because it's yeah. Well, anyway, that's a whole deep dive.
It
I
is.
could get
I
right
know.
into it. I'm like,
I know. That's what I
ooh.
was going to say. When you think of how Puma has explained that everything is open now for everyone. It used to be private. It used to be, his grandfather taught him it was all in private pretty much.
Mhm.
And definitely his grandfather's was all in private, but now it's open for everyone. So
Yes.
yeah, so
Yes.
wonderful.
I was going to say, whoever can get out the message, I think, is very much appreciated.
Right.
Yeah.
But and everyone, and well, because we're all so different, they may not, people will hear these messages and send them out in ways that aren't even shamanic, but it's just alchemy, not just,
Yeah.
but and in their own way. So anyone who wants to get their message out, it'll come through them in their own way. I love it.
Mm.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. So I definitely thank you for all that you do, for all your work, and I had called you into a circle one time. And then I think Puma came. Took us up to the sun because I was asked to be a part of where we're smoothing the energies that are coming from the sun to the earth. And
Mhm.
you and Puma and I were dancing around a fire, and then Puma took us up to the sun, and he sucked in a lot of the energy so that it wouldn't just be shoved at us, and then
Mm.
blew it around the earth very slowly. And you and I were there just slowly
Mm. That's
flowing
beautiful.
the energy around the earth. It was one of those, a vision that happens. So, but this is what
Beautiful.
shaman, that's what we talk about being, in Aini, in Minka together,
Mhm.
working together.
Absolutely. Ooh, I love that. Yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful.
it was
That
beautiful.
collaboration and that the remembrance that we can call on each other too, right?
Right.
That we can call on, we can do this beautiful work. We can answer the call of the earth, or the call of standing and speaking for the water or the animals, that we can do these things, and that we can also call on our medicine sisters and brothers and
Right.
other teachers and their teachers that we have. It's like when we remember to call on them, it's that idea again of catching up with ceremony. It's like they're instantly
Right.
there.
Yeah,
And we
oh
go, oh
yeah.
my gosh, right? I
Yeah.
almost forgot to call all that support in. And then you feel it
Right.
and you're going, and suddenly there's optimism and great change and great healing comes from that place.
That's right.
So
Oh, so
it's so
beautiful.
beautiful. And that's why I love, even though we're in this way, we're still in a circle right now,
Right.
right? And whoever's listening in, and we're not meant to do it alone. We are meant to heal in relationship. And so, yeah, that's why I love these monthly calls, because, the brilliance of somebody's dream or vision or shamanic journey pops forward, and someone else goes, oh my gosh, that's related to this. And then somebody else goes, I
Wow.
really needed to hear that today. Or, there's this synergistic weaving that happens when people come together. And that is magical.
It
And
is. That's so
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Oh, wow. I feel like I've been healed. I had a healing.
This was
Yay.
beautiful.
It
It was
was
beautiful.
beautiful. Yes. Oh, I thank you so much for being here. And I don't want to stop, but it's time. So
Well, thank you so much, Donna. Thank you so much, Vicki. It's just an honor to be with both of you, and I am delighted to know about your guys' sacred service through your podcast, and the way that you're touching people in your community is really, really beautiful, and I'm just overjoyed to be part of it. So
oh,
thanks for the
thank
invitation.
you. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Don't forget to share. If you have traumas, if you have illnesses, if you have gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
share it.
Yes, share it. Share it. That's right. And
Powerful.
we make sure that you go and see Ava's site. It's so
Yes,
exciting.
it's a
All
beautiful
right.
sight. Beautiful.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you so
Blessings.
much.
Thanks so much.
Love to all.
Bye.
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 It's your time.